Hello to my fellow KW stakeholders. Of course, it's Aaron Kaufman, Chief Stakeholder Evangelist out of Atlanta, Georgia. And today I am so excited to talk to literally one of my favorite people in KW, the wonderful, beautiful Judy Johns out of Kansas City. How you doing, dear?
I am doing fabulous, as early as it is.
Yes, I know. And I appreciate you so much for taking time this morning to speak with us. And look, before we jump into this, Judy, look, I know you are not just a huge profit share evangelist like myself for KW. You're also a culture person. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, my interview last week was with the team leader of our Clarksville, Tennessee Market Center, Joey Haley, which a lot of us know very well. And I just want to make sure people that are listening to this call, whether live or recorded, know that you can't talk about profit share and you can't really have success with building your profit share if you're not a culture driven person at KW. So I just want to make sure that we all understand that our fellow stakeholders in Clarksville, Tennessee are hurting right now after those terrible tornadoes. So let's all try to rally around them and help them get through that natural disaster. Donate to KW Cares. I'm sure if you're in the Southeast region, your market center will be sending something to that market center. So Judy, wanted to get that out of the way. And I know that this conversation we're going to have today is going to also be, an extension of what I just said. But I want people to really understand who you are, what your story is. I know you have been with KW for a long time. You were a trailblazer for KW, the first license held in the Midwest. So take us back to before you were even in real estate and tell us how you got to where you are today at KW.
Well, I'm married to Coach, and he does have a name. It's Ken, but we all call him Coach. And at some point in time, I recognized the fact that teachers get paid once a month.
Yeah.
So at the end of 3 weeks, we were out of money. So I knew I had to do something. And people had suggested real estate for me, and so I dove right in, failed the test the first time, missed the state by one question, which I find that's now encouragement to people who fail the test, that you can have success after failing.
Well, Judy, and let's get real. How much do they test you on? Do you apply to being a real estate agent, right?
Precisely. So I missed the state by one, and that was back in the day when you didn't know for 2 weeks, and they mailed it to you. So I scrounged around, found pennies, went to Topeka, crammed, and I had a horrible day of substitute teaching. I substitute and taught math in the middle school, the jumping hormones, and came home. Here was the envelope. Steve was in the driveway. I'm normally very chill, but I was shaking, literally. He opened it and I passed. So I cried and jumped around. That was the beginning. And Dave and Steve were like 9 and 11, we figured. So they were just old enough. If I had to leave, they'd be okay.
Yes.
So that was kind of the start. And I got hooked. After 2 years, I got a broker's license, which fast forward was a blessing because when we opened Keller Williams, mine was a broker license that let us do that.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me about the company, and I'm sure you have you had a great experience at the companies you were at before. But how did you decide on the real estate company you joined there in Kansas City? What was that experience like? I know there were some, being an innovator for KW, being the first sometimes can get you into hot water once they find out. But take us back to how you chose that company. Did you have a relationship in the industry? Did you?
So the initial company I was with had communities, new home communities. So I put my teeth on that as well as resale.
Nice.
And then in 83, he closed the doors because it was another little recession. So I went a franchise, and we grew there, and then ultimately Dave and Steve joined, and we became the Johns family team. But even as a solo, I did 64 units, just wore me out. But got an assistant, did 84, and then a buyer specialist did 104. So meanwhile, spoke with Keller Williams. Mary and Joe Harker had joined.
I love the Harkers, and they're the original evangelists for KW Profit Share. Let me ask you this: I'm just curious, Judy, because when I talk to people, sometimes when you're building a team at a more traditional real estate company, right? Teams were not kind of teams were not a thing, and they in many ways were. I'm not going to say they were frowned upon, but obviously your company was okay. You were way ahead of the curve in '83 building a team.
So, yeah, had some discussions, I should say, but, when I had the first assistant, I'm thinking that they saw that that was a catapult for
Yeah,
agent productivity and agent less stress, shall we say,
yeah, yeah.
and so that was good. Um, we were there I was at that company, I'm exponential, for 16 years,
Oh wow.
and, when we had the guys and I, Coach Dave and Steve had gone down to spend a day with Gary Keller, and I had a call from Rich Henry. Oops, I probably shouldn't have said that. The broker. He's no longer in real estate.
It's all good.
And he said, "You have a few minutes." Well, we were going crazy with an out of towner. I knew a few minutes with him would be an hour, and literally an hour later, he said, what he had said was, Prudential International has called me to say, "What are you doing with that Judy Johns?" Blah blah blah. Which means when you say Judy Johns, it means the Johns family.
Yes, of course.
And so at the end of the conversation, he said, "In your heart of hearts, is this something you want to do?" And I slammed my fist on the table and I said, "No, this is something we have to do. We have to bring this
Oh, I love that.
to the agents in Kansas City."
Yeah,
However, the agents in Kansas City, being the Midwest, conservative, you got to show me, were
yeah.
not quite ready for us. And so he said, "By Monday, you and your team can be out of here." So
Wow.
it was a quick divorce after 16 years.
Well, let's go back a step, okay? Because look, you were happy at Prudential, right? You were doing obviously a tremendous amount of business. How did KW come into your life before? I mean, because when you're the first Judy, right? You don't even know is Keller who are these people? What's going on? I mean, 80, so tell me how KW came into your life so that you got yourself into hot water with your
Okay. Well, of course, we knew the McKissicks through
ah,
Star Power, and
yeah,
that's how we knew the Harkers. They're a family team like we are.
sure.
And so when Joe Harker called and said he was bringing Keller Williams, to the Midwest, I said, "Well, you're staying with us." And we laugh to this day because he spent 60 nights in our home,
Mm,
overnight that
yeah,
year. And so, but the thing about it was God, family, business. I mean, seriously, can
yeah,
you believe someone saying that out loud in
yeah,
a corporate world? And then the Y for C2Ts at the time, the extra E was not there,
yeah.
but we bought into that too, of course. But that's so aligned with our family values that we said, we just knew it was, well, the kids, Dave and Steve, they're men, middle-aged men.
They're great men. Yeah,
Yeah, they're great
they're
guys.
wonderful. I've met them. Yeah, I met
Yeah,
them both. They're
I
amazing.
love them. We love them a lot.
Yeah,
And they've given us 5 grandchildren and 2 greats, so that's even better. But they said that, "Mom, this is a no-brainer." And so that's when we began the journey.
that's amazing. And so the Harkers were top agents in Kansas City, or were they in a
No,
different?
the Harkers are in Dallas area.
So how did you meet up? Were you doing local event or like regional events where you met these people or no?
No, it was through Hardbrett and Star Power.
Okay,
And Yuval
gotcha.
Daniels, the McKissicks, there was a
Yeah.
lot of us that were in his Star Power group.
So who did you choose as your sponsor when you came to KW?
Mary Harker,
Ah, maybe that's
and
why
then
the
it travels up to McKissicks,
yeah.
and then a couple other names that are no
I love that.
longer.
I love that. And I always say about the McKissicks, look, I think they say they've sponsored directly only 33 people
Yeah,
directly to KW, right? But they have obviously, over 10,000 people in their tree. They've earned over 16 million, but it shows you that it only takes 33, influential people. And obviously the Harker, I don't know if they directly
right.
sponsored the Harkers, but if all you did was sponsor Mary Harker, you probably wouldn't have to work anymore, right? I would think today. All right,
So
so
I've only directly sponsored 2
that's
because we
amazing.
sat.
That's
We
amazing.
sat.
And Judy, we talk about, you have earned $1.5 million. And let me just say, I love the fact you sent me a screenshot of your command app,
Mhm.
right? Because, you're way ahead of the curve on many levels, right? So,
Yeah. Be
um,
proud of me for opening command. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, I love that. But also, I think, is one of your sons has already earned over 1 million, correct? Is
Both
it
have.
both
Both
have?
David and Steve have. Yeah.
Right.
We're
So,
just waiting on Coach. Coach will be next.
so the family has earned over 3 million plus, if
Well,
not 4.
probably that makes it 4
Yeah.
million, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
that's amazing. That's amazing. So go back, say, so you're the first agent broker for KW in the Midwest. You're a part of an ownership group that's bringing KW to Kansas City, right? And you had
Right.
about nine. You said about 9 core agents when you first.
Correct. I
Yeah.
wouldn't call they were the Johns family team, so there was, like, 3 admin. I mean, we opened so far when Rich Henry, was booting us out of
Yeah.
Prudential, which I've been at home for 16 years,
Yeah.
I called Gary, he was on vacation, so I called Mo, and I said, "Mo, they're kicking us out. We can do this, can't we?" And there was this pause,
Uh-oh.
and I'm thinking, "Oh my goodness, now what do we do? We have no money." And she said, "Yes, we can."
I love that.
So, I filled out that profit and loss thing and
Yeah. Because you didn't have enough core agents, right, at that point, because you were just kind
no,
of getting
we were so out
started.
of model,
So
and,
she thought highly enough of you and the Johns family to realize, okay, look, they don't have the 40. I don't know what the minimum was, but they knew that you were so influential in that market that and driven to bring KW there that it was not a risk for them to give you that franchise early on. So you had these other owners, right? You launched KW. Talk about what it was like to be the first to open up a KW. Yeah.
well, the other owners were Dave, Steve, and Coach, and I.
Right.
That
Right.
was it. So there
Exactly.
was 9 of us, and, so a couple of newspapers, promoted us and but Kansas City just wasn't ready for us. We
Yeah.
thought this was June 8, '99. We thought there'd be 100 people by, the end of the year. Well, there was 60, and within that 60, not a lot of talent, actually.
Yeah.
At one time, I invited 2 agents to leave us, and as Dave says, $36,000 walked out the door, but integrity, do the right thing was more important to us.
Well, and especially Judy at a time when you're building the foundation, right, of this market
Exactly.
center, right? I mean, who you get into business with, I think matters the most at that, right? Because you're setting a
Yes.
precedent for what this market center is going to be built on top. And I know, you're such a huge integrity culture person, right? And that's the great thing about our cap model, obviously, is
Mhm.
that you're only worth your cap. So if you're not a fit culturally for
Yeah.
us,
Bye-bye.
right, we
Mhm.
can replace you with a first-year capper, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly, and grow
so
them.
so what was it about Kansas City? And I've heard this before, like especially like when I go to Canada, right? Like Canada, they're like, oh, Canadians, they're not as greedy as Americans or whatever whatever they say. Like, oh, they
Mhm.
don't want the American It's like, look, they want more money and time, don't they? They want to leave a legacy. I think we all are human. So what was it? Kansas City obviously is a more traditional, family-oriented Midwestern town. Is that what you face, or was it more to that where people were being more proactive about trying to stop KW from coming in there because they knew eventually, we would take it over? Was it a
Yeah.
combination? Yeah.
Well, understand there were less than 5,000 Keller Williams agents when we
Yeah.
joined, okay? So it wasn't like this. It was definitely a Keller who,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
and,
great point. That's a great
one of
point.
the CEO and owner of a big company here in town called me one day and he said, "Judy, I really like that office space where you are, and, what do you" I said, "Jerry, I am so naive that I don't know that I'm not having so much fun." I just like and of course, I'm
Yeah.
walking around the empty office going, "Oh my gosh." We were over $330,000 in debt
Wow.
before
Wow.
things really turned in April of 2002. And, we look back and we say, "We would do it again." And I tell agents when I talk with them, I say, "We did this for you. Now, we didn't know you. You weren't even in real estate at the time, but we did it for you, and we would do it again."
Now, I know one of your best buddies is Gary Keller, right? And I'm always like, Judy, make sure you tell Gary how much you love me every once in a while. But
Mhm.
talk about, you said, look, you guys launched with 5,000 agents. And even today, Judy, getting intentional about growing KW requires faith, right? And
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of anything. There's no guarantee that you sponsor them, that their office is going to be profitable, that they're going to stay at KW, right? And so
Exactly.
going back to that moment, I know you believed in, the models and the systems, and obviously profit share was probably a huge aha for a giant family like yours that was going to be, everybody was going to be participating in it. But what was it about your relationship with Gary in that moment, that kind of gave you that faith that, hey, look, this is a train that's not going to be stopped, even though I'm on early. But what was it
Mhm.
about Gary, the moment? Was it, what was it about that relationship that really,
Well,
yeah,
Gary, um, consulted with us for 3 years, and, and also the guys and I, we all agreed that we could not all give up on the same day.
yeah,
We had and yes, we had faith, and, Gary was so kind, but also I would tell you that and the guys love to tease me about this,
yeah,
but he would have us fax our 411 to him
mm,
each time, and this one week, I just didn't get it done. Mind you, I was OP for a lot of the time. I was team leader because
yeah,
catching. I was broker, I was compliance, I was rainmaker on the Johns family team, and I was listing and selling.
wow,
And I told him, I said, Gary, I didn't get it done. I was just too busy. And he said, then we have nothing to talk about and hung up on me.
wow,
So, you know, never again was I too busy to not get it done. But
yeah,
that also, spoke volumes to me about his integrity. And
sure,
and it was such a gift. And I learned so much. I mean, I quote him to this day to our agents on so many things that, he said to me, among them, of course, success through others.
sure, yeah,
We
and
were
Judy,
just trying to find the others.
yeah, no, and look, what you were missing there was leverage, right?
Mhm,
Of talent and
mhm.
agents and all that stuff. And when you're in, that was a very overwhelming experience for you to be spearheading because you had to wear a lot of hats. But that's sort of, I think, the moment we're kind of in as a company right now is that we are looking at it like, hey, look, if you're an OP of an office, right? You need to be present in that office, right? I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
not you don't right. It's hard to be an OP of 10 offices and be selling real estate and have other business ventures and be delivering on that position at a high level. So
And
um,
be in constant training as well.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So you started to build the market center, right? The Johns team is obviously still to this day one of our top teams. You have two of your grandsons in the team as well now, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, what a legacy, Judy. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, you are the Johns team is literally one of our, 10 families, the McKissicks, the Harkers, the Ubaldinis, I mean, the
Mhm.
Johns. It's pretty amazing to look back, right, at this what
Oh,
you've
yeah.
built and the legacy, right, that you built for your kids, but your grandkids, their kids. I mean, this is just it's unbelievable what you've been able to do. So
And
talk about
profit share has given us such a freedom.
yeah,
I could choose not to work
right.
and but I choose to.
Yes. And you remember when I was in Kansas City, I think it was a month or two ago teaching, right?
Mhm.
Which by the way, shout out to Chris Pinion, an amazing turnout. I mean, that was one of my
Yes.
best classes of the year. And I always, when I go to KC, there's just something cooking. Okay. Vibe and the energy. And I have a feeling the Johns family is a big part of that. Now, have you guys expanded your reach ownership wise, or are you just all have still have ownership in that one market center right now?
No, actually, and it was nice. We were invited to, of course, initially, it's not like now. Initially, finding that money, you
Yeah,
know, and so people would come to us so we could also give them some of the knowledge of our failures and what
sure,
works.
sure.
So we had ownership probably in 6 or 7,
Wow.
and we've sold, well, I can't really say we've sold.
That's okay.
We've allowed other people to invest
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
our shares.
that's leverage at its finest, and
Yeah.
right, and we can't, one of the great opportunities at KW is the ownership opportunity, right? We want to
Mhm.
expand that so that more of our top agents and stakeholders have the opportunity to be an owner. Although you and I both agree, profit share is ownership with no capital investment. But
Yeah.
so let's go back to some of those conversations. I know it was hard in the beginning. Okay, but take us through some of the conversations early on when you brought KW compared to where you are today, because I don't think there's anybody in KC saying Keller who anymore, right?
Better not be.
Yeah. So what were those conversations like early on? And I love how you said we're doing this for you, and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
talk about what it was like, early on versus, and I know you're still intentional today, Judy. So
Oh, yeah.
how has those conversations changed, and what are you talking about, and how are you having this success? Okay.
Well, initially, we're making an effort just to explain how Keller Williams is different
Yeah.
and the opportunity. And I will tell you, whenever I talk to a potential recruit, I always mention profit share. They say, "Don't do that." I always do, and then I go like this,
And
"I'm
why do they say don't talk about profit share? I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Is that why are we so hesitant to talk about profit share? Do you think, Judy, it's because we're scared it might dilute um who we are as a training and consulting company, or that people don't understand it and maybe it's gonna affect their view of our company? Because I feel like 40 years later, we're still kind of saying the same thing. Yeah, even though we've given back $2 billion and we're number one in every category, right?
I I guess if I were to try to pin it down, it would be the, early on, the pyramid scheme, overcoming those objections.
Yeah,
But for me, it's just like, what a gift we have. The frog, forever remember our gift.
I love that.
And, I just always bring it up. Now people will say, "Will you explain that to me?" Just know that it works, and later you can learn how it works.
Exactly. And do
And
you think that the profit share opportunity was a real catalyst for the culture as well? I know that God Family Business was a huge part of what you were doing and being people that, led with integrity and abundance and contribution. But how much do you think being a profit sharing company kind of galvanized the culture, right? And gave you guys that kind of advantage that, we have in an industry that's always been kind of, independent, right? We're an interdependent company in an independent, dependent industry. But did you talk about profit share back then because you guys weren't profitable early on? So was it talked about as a vision to bind people together? Do you remember how those conversations went?
yeah, well, it was tough when they would say, "Well, how much have you profit shared?"
Right.
Well, the model allows us to know that we will,
Yeah.
bottom
Yeah.
line. And, and when it was first presented to us, God bless Joe Harker, uh, it wasn't a big number, in his example.
Yeah.
And I will say that the Johns family, we really, at that beginning time, had no idea of the vision of how big it could be.
Yeah.
And we just knew that we were committed to bring this to Kansas City and the Midwest, as it turned out,
Yeah.
um, because we
It's
knew
more about the
it was just
partnership. Right, it was more about the partnership that you were gonna have with your agents and that was encompassing more than just profit share, right? It was, hey, they have a say,
all
we're
of the above.
investing in their
Mhm.
training and support. We want them to be, you know, it's a different mindset when you
Mhm.
treat your agents like partners, right, Judy? Because now
Exactly.
you want them to be bigger than yourself, right? In many
And
ways.
actually, that's why we called ourselves partners,
Yeah, I love
Keller
that.
Realty Partners. And
Yeah,
then the other ones in the city, Northam Partners, Southam Partners,
it's true,
Platinum
yeah.
Partners,
That's a great point. Yeah,
Lazy Partners, it was kind of fun because that's exactly how we did. And like you mentioned, why would you wanna put up money and be in the risk category
yeah, yeah,
of ownership when you can do this for free and
exactly.
you're just inviting people to join you? And I always, when I list a property, I will say our company is a profit sharing company. And so when one of us gets a listing, we're all happy
I
because we
love
know that adds to the profit.
And I love that you say that, Judy, because I don't think our associates, understand that first and foremost enough
Mhm,
because we've been telling them, don't worry about profit share, right? And so they
mhm.
don't, we're not really solidifying that partnership, I think, at a high level. But what you just said there, Judy, is everything. Like, we should be talking about this to buyers and sellers, right? Like, I'm at a company where I'm at a global real estate company of 200,000 stakeholders that have a vested interest in me selling your listing faster.
Mhm.
Okay. Or where agents that are doing things I haven't even dreamt about yet have an incentive to share with me how they do it. Right. You want to
Yes.
know why my marketing's better? Because I'm at an interdependent company that invests
Mm,
in me and where people work together. Right.
yes.
So I think it's so great that you say that because I don't think that's enough of a conversation on the real estate side for our
Really
associates.
not. But
Right.
it's all in alignment.
It
Everything
is. It is.
about the culture and profit sharing and
Exactly. So what keeps you purposeful? I mean, look, when I was there in Kansas City, I mean, you were right there with your notebook, right? We had
Mhm.
a little breakout session, right? Everybody was going. There were some different breakouts. You were one of a handful of people that came to the profit share breakout. I see the excitement. I see the energy. I mean, what is it? I mean, obviously 1.5 million and over 4 million for your family and all that, the legacy it's building continues to keep
Mhm.
you enthusiastic about profit share. But in a moment, Judy, where profit share is a little bit down because of the market, right? And, I think it's fair to say KW has, had a tough 4 or 5 years here. Look, we've been building
Mhm.
tech, and tech can be messy. And while we've been doing that,
Yes.
there's been some new flashy objects that have showed up in our industry. And so what do you tell somebody that thinks, hey, either A, the profit share opportunity has already passed at KW, or I don't want to get purposeful about it right now because my market center is not very profitable, right? What do you tell people like that? And why are you, how do you stay enthusiastic about it in a moment like this? Yeah, yeah,
Well, and something it's just if you get a chocolate candy bar and it just tastes so good, you
yeah.
wanna share it.
I
And so I
agree.
still get excited because I wanna share it.
Yeah.
And,
But you
it's just
participate at a high level, right? You go to family reunion, you go to mega camp, you go to training events, you teach a lot. Do you teach a lot in your market center? Are you involved in teaching profit shares?
whenever I'm asked. I was in
Yeah,
Topeka,
yeah.
last a few weeks ago and, had so
So
much
what
fun working with
so
them.
what about this moment? Because you've seen you were here, you launched KW in '99, right?
Mhm.
So you probably came out of the gate. I mean, it was tough early on, but things happened gradually and slowly. Gradually, then suddenly. But my guess is by '07, '06, '07, you guys are doing pretty good, right? And then
Doing
the
pretty
market
good.
shifted.
And then, of course, August or October of 2008, the spigot turned off. But
Right.
then, um, we were blessed with Lucas Sheridan coming to be our team
Yeah.
leader in
Yeah.
2011, and that began another growth spurt. Shannon Steer kinda helped us. The team
Yeah.
leader role is critical, as we know.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
I feel so blessed now with our current team leaders, Robin Hendricks and Geneva, and then, um, Sarah, our assistant team leader.
Yeah.
I know that when I give them a name, they're gonna be handled with professionalism, with grace, with kindness, and with intelligence,
Yep. No doubt.
things I
And
like.
so look, you could probably never make another cent in profit share and, you know, still leave a huge legacy, right, through your real estate business and what your kids are doing. But, where do you, I mean, like in the moment like this, when you sent me your little screenshot, right, you're down about 35% over
Yeah,
last
I
year.
did the
So
math
am I,
today, yeah.
right? The industry seems to be under assault from every direction these days, lawsuits, tech disruptors, right? Mortgage rates. So,
Other real estate companies
yeah. So,
coming
what
on.
is it? So, are you confident about the future of your profit share legacy? And what is it about, the direction of KW that keeps you? Because look, you wouldn't be trying to attract people to KW if you didn't think we were the best place for them to be right now and in the future. But what is it about KW and Gary Keller's vision and what we're doing, combined with your, long history in this industry? What keeps you confident about the future of KW and your profit share legacy?
Well, I have to say, I have every confidence in Gary Keller and his intelligence
Yeah, me too.
and his forward thinking, and I also will say, I'm pretty danged excited about Mark Willis having
Yeah,
KW after his name now.
yeah, yeah,
What a leader, and, I learned in fact, when they just started having operating partner camp,
yeah. I just saw
I
that.
didn't I didn't go with the region. I flew out to Arizona to be with Mark because I admire him so much.
You did that recently? Yeah.
Oh, no, that was probably in 2000, 2001.
Because I saw that he's doing now what's called an OPALC with our top 40 OPs, which I
Yes,
thought, man, that's amazing. And some of the people that are in there are some of my favorite OPs in KW, right?
and that
But
alone is the twist on how our company will maintain and grow
yeah,
and just always be
yeah. And
innovative.
I agree, Judy. And I heard a great saying from Diana Kokoska, right? Who said years ago, you got to get people into pain, okay, to
Mhm,
create change. And
mhm.
I think the best thing that's ever happened to KW were some of these virtual real estate rev share companies, the tech disruptors. Look, we saw the ascension of KW, right? We were here as we took
Mhm.
over the industry. And I think a lot of people probably took it for granted. Okay. Like, hey, we're the highest evolution of the industry. This doesn't take a lot of work, right? All of a sudden, bam, we're number one in every category.
Yeah.
But I feel like KW needed to come down to earth a little bit or have a little bit of pain for us to look in the mirror as a company and say, how can we be better? And I'm right there with you, Judy. Like, I've never been more excited about the future of KW. I mean,
Mhm.
people like Mark King and Jason Abrams and getting Mark Willis back and what we're doing with our tech platform. I have no doubt KW is going to emerge from this shift stronger than we've ever been.
I
And I
agree.
think and I think a part of that is feeling a little bit of pain and having to kind of recalibrate as a company and find our true north. Because
Mhm.
look, it's great to be number one in every category.
Now what
But
are we gonna do with it?
yeah, what are you going to do with it? And how long are you going to stay at the top, right?
Right.
Because when you grow so quickly, sometimes culture and your story
Mhm.
have a hard time keeping up with it, right? And
I agree.
I know you're more than just an owner, right? You're in many ways the heart of your market center, and I'm just curious how you lean into that on a daily basis. I mean, when you go into your office, I know you're already thinking like an owner and a stakeholder, but how does that manifest itself in your relationship with your fellow KW stakeholders? So you talk about that a little bit if you don't mind.
So, by the way, a little known fact, Mark King is in our downline.
Unbelievable. I love it. I love
Isn't
it.
that funny?
Yeah,
So,
another Midwestern guy, but I love that, right? Which I mean, it just and you said and who ended up sponsoring him to KW? Your sons or
well, of course, like I said, we stack. We
yeah,
put
yeah.
everybody under Steve, but, there is a person in between, a gal who was selling magazine advertising, was
Interesting.
licensed, and she sponsored Mark.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Which
anyway.
how many times have you heard that? I mean, I always tell people all the time, like my sponsor sponsored one person, right? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
everybody you sponsored to KW is a lottery ticket. Who would have known that Mark
Mhm.
King, right,
Isn't
would
that
turn
funny?
out to be?
Now he's not on the street selling right now, but anyway, that's just kinda fun, I
Well, I
guess.
have a feeling the people that he attracts to KW will
Mhm.
offset the lack of profit share he's generating as the president of KW, right?
Exactly.
But I love
Anyways,
that because I mean, last time I checked, Mark King's only about 50 years old. So my guess is he's probably going to attract a lot more people, and those people he attracts, Judy, I have a feeling are not going to be brand new agents to KW. So
and,
yeah,
along with attracting people, he is attractive himself.
he is. He's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Just thought I'd
And
mention that.
I love the fact that of his story, you know,
Mhm. Yes.
and people don't I don't know if people know that, but Mark King, he and I think he says this. I hope I'm not say it wrong, but he grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. Okay, he was
Mhm.
poor white trash, is what I believe he says he was on in the St. Louis area. But that's why we're having this huge diversity moment right now, right? I
Mhm.
mean, K Score is Mark King's baby, right?
Mhm.
And he launched that because he realized, look, the biggest obstacle for people getting into real estate, especially low income or
Mhm.
minorities, is the cost to get your real estate license. So that's really been the reason we're doing K scores to and having this huge diversity movement is that we want to expand the opportunity,
Mhm.
right? And K score is such an amazing opportunity to grow your profit share tree because my guess is, Judy, a lot of people listening today and when this is a recorded video probably have people in their real estate database that might be considering a real estate career, right?
Mhm.
Have you had any conversations with some of your buyers, your clients about being a real estate agent these days? Because I'm seeing a lot of amazing talent coming into real estate after the pandemic right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I've had a couple of past clients become
Yeah,
realtors. I will tell you my opening line when we're out to eat and the server is just exceptional,
yeah.
I say, what are your career goals?
Mm.
Have you ever considered real estate?" And it's interesting, actually, um, Coach and I were eating at Red Door Grill on Monday nights, they have $5 burgers,
Yeah.
and opened a conversation, with Lori from Washington, and she was talking about real estate. She was in town for training, and so I started a conversation with her, and as we exchanged numbers, I called Bruce Hardy. I said, "Who should I have her call?" Well, she is now in our downline. That was just a random meeting,
I love that.
and that was fun. But if they're we don't do K-Store in Kansas yet, darn it, but in Missouri we do. So when I say, "Are you living in Missouri?" Guess what?
It's amazing.
And then you could even just put it in our referral. And I always share that one of our grandson's first referral checks was over $2,000. Could you use an extra $2,000 by sharing a name?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think there's nothing worse than finding out somebody you had a relationship with joined KW and they didn't put you down as a sponsor because you never talked to them. And what do we always say, Judy? Don't be a secret agent, right? Don't be a
Correct.
secret attractor to KW, right? If you don't, I mean, I love, I think, and I want to say Mark Willis might have even, or maybe he was, no, it was Joe Rothschild. I don't know if you know that name out of
Oh,
Texas.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so Joe Rothschild, one of our top, was one like the top Remax agent in Texas. But he ended up, I heard him say something once where he said, "Look, everybody assumed that I was already recruited,
Mhm.
but nobody ever even asked Joe Rothschild to even consider KW." And he picked up the phone, I believe, and called Mark Willis, and that's how he joined KW, and that's who he chose
Mhm.
as a sponsor. So it just goes to show you, if you're not thinking about it and you're not speaking about it, right, then you're a secret attractor to KW. And look, there's a chance that somebody that you have a relationship with will put you down, right?
Mhm.
There's a chance they won't too, right? So being intentional is important, right? And being the referral agent of record, Judy, and running this like a business, even though you're a sweet lady, you're a killer, right? Would you let one of your buyers go talk to a builder without registering them, right? So,
As Steve would say, the mama bear claws come out. No, 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 no.
so talk about just moving forward for you, right? I mean, look, you're what? You're about 40 years old right now, right?
Yeah.
You're moving
Let's double
forward.
that and add one.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there must be all that profit share because you don't look 81 years old, Judy. I mean,
Oh,
seriously.
thank
I
you.
mean,
Thank you.
your energy level is off the charts.
I tell people when I meet them for the first time after I've had a conversation or so, I say, "Now know that my energy is a lot younger than I look or I am," because they can look at me and go, "Oh, no, no, no,
Yeah.
I don't trust this."
So what is it that when you think about your legacy, right? Your profit share, like what does profit share mean to you today, for you, your family? What does it mean as you think about when you're not here, the legacy and what KW's done for your family? What are your thoughts around what it means to you, what it's done for you? I mean, 1.5 million for you personally has probably allowed you to do a lot of things that maybe you didn't think you could do, right? By making that money passively.
So I would first of all say that legacy always puts a big lump in my throat
Yes.
because it's so important to me,
Yeah.
not with just our family, but with other agents. It's just so
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah.
And so, but what profit share has done for us, I would equate it to the word freedom and generosity
Yeah.
because when you receive more, the circle of giving means you can give more.
Yeah.
And in fact, just the other day, I was sitting and just writing checks to different charities because I could.
Yeah.
And it was such a feel good.
What are
And
some of
then,
the charities that are important to you that
well,
are yeah,
there's some local ones, City Union Mission and McDonald House.
sure. That's a great one. Yeah, we have one
And
here in Atlanta, right near the Children's Hospital here. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a big one. And then, oh shoot, now what's it called? Heart International. They're kind of similar in a way to Red Cross. It's very local,
Yeah.
and they take medicine to well, every time there's a disaster, they're there with the medicines and
Nice.
help.
Nice.
So those are some, and then some churches.
How
Yeah.
about your sons? I know, I mean, they're considered, top agents, top profit share earners. What does it mean for them as far, because they're still obviously very intentional about it, right? You said you've only sponsored what, two or three
Two
people
or three,
direct,
yeah, because we
right?
ask everybody to go under.
But how many? But they've sponsored quite a bit of people too, as well.
Yeah, and then there again, we put them all under Steve
Hmm.
as much as we can. I think
Yeah.
Dave may have a couple people, but, they're both operating partners,
Yeah.
and
How does
so
that conversation go, by the way, Judy, for when you want to, and for people that don't understand, one of the great opportunities at KW, if you are a family or a husband and wife team, is obviously the
yes,
ability to stack your profit share. And as you grow it, if you're thinking like a stakeholder and a business owner,
exactly.
putting new recruits under the lowest family member allows everybody to earn off of that
Exactly.
totally the way it was designed to be. So let's just say someone wanted to put you down as a sponsor, okay, today, and you wanted them to go under Steve or maybe
This
under one of
happened just,
yeah,
3 weeks ago, actually.
yeah, talk
But
about that conversation. Yeah.
Judy, you're the reason that I'm at Keller Williams. Yes, but remember how we talked about profit sharing and all that? And so we just always ask everybody to put Steve down as their sponsor. And then ultimately, that profit share will come up to me and to Mary Harker and the McKissicks.
And do you think and have you ever had a problem with that conversation before?
Never,
Right.
never.
And
Never.
I always tell people, look, one of the great things about KW is that we were able to stack our profit share. And look, if you're a husband and wife team and you're not stacking your profit share, I don't even want to explain to you the financial loss that you could be missing out on from not doing
Exactly.
that. But if you do anything, you need to run your profit share your real estate business through the spouse that's under the other spouse, right?
Exactly.
Because
And profit
then
on
you're earning
your
profit share off of your own business,
exactly.
right?
I
Uh,
think that's pretty cool. I love that.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, the recruit gets to choose their own sponsor, right? So if
Mhm.
they end up putting Judy Johns down, you're not going to be angry about that, okay?
No.
But you would want them to understand that in case they're in the same position down the road. And sometimes what I hear from people, Judy, is I hear people say, "Oh, this person I sponsored to KW, they stacked it. Then they brought their spouse on. Then they ran their business through the spouse, and now I'm making less profit share money." And I'm always trying to remind them, first of all, profit share is not about you. Okay, it's about them. Number
Right.
one.
Thank you.
Second of all, I'm guessing if a husband and wife team is stacking their profit share, they're probably going to be more excited about the profit share opportunity at KW. They're probably going
Mhm.
to be here longer. They're probably going to attract more people to
Mhm.
KW. And I have a feeling you're going to make more money in profit share over their lifetime at KW than if they had it. And,
Yeah, and
and
there's that nasty word scarcity
yeah,
versus abundance.
no doubt, no
Mhm.
doubt. Um, so anything you want to just share, Judy? I mean, I know you're very passionate around profit share. Is there anything you want to talk about or share with the people that watch this or watch it when it's recorded? What would you like to kind of give as a parting shot or thought, Judy?
So, I would say, as regards profit share,
Yeah,
when somebody says that I, little housewife just getting into real estate
yeah,
to make an extra week out of a paycheck,
yeah,
can earn 1.5 million. I mean, why can't you?
exactly.
And it's just like everybody's an opportunity. You know, that Raz just starts clicking when you meet somebody with a cool personality,
Yeah,
a teacher, a server, anybody.
totally.
And I always love that referral agent as well. Most companies, I think most of us now have the referral company.
Yep.
And just know that even that alone can help. And I literally always I say, I'm just sprinkling this in right now, but I want you to think about it and we'll talk later. But just always have your ears and if you've had a good co-op agent, oh my goodness, have you ever considered learning about Keller Williams?
Yeah, yeah. And Judy, obviously being a top agent, having a top team, being people that, and I've met your sons. They're all high integrity people who, I'm sure have modeled themselves after you. But how important is it for you to be someone that agents and people in the community respect and trust, right? I mean, how critical is that as an agent if you want to
Oh,
have success with recruiting, right? Because it's one thing to be intentional about profit share, but if agents don't like you or respect you or want to even talk to you, right? Because
right.
way you handle the last transaction, that's probably going to affect the way they view KW, and certainly
Exactly.
you as an agent. So how important is it for you to be that person, to be in the business for so long and to realize that attracting people to KW is not a sprint, right? It's a marathon, just like building a real estate business, right?
Correct.
So talk
Well,
about that.
obviously, it's uber critical, and I always want our agents to be an extension of that. Just
Mhm.
be be the Y4C2Ts.
Exactly.
And
Pretty simple.
it was when we saw that, I mean, it was so in alignment with who we are and how we are, and that's just who we continue to be. And that's just who we are.
Yeah.
And that's the reputation we want, and above all, in fact, when Dave's son became a realtor, he loves the commercial aspect. He kept saying, "Mimi, I understand." He said, "My last name is Johns. I have to be a Johns. I
Yeah.
have to be that." And I was like, "You better."
Yeah, there's worse things to be than
You're right.
Johns, okay, in Kansas City, okay? I mean,
Mhm.
you guys are a big deal there. So you think, you're feeling good about the moment we're in, right? Because I know you're still plugged into all the messaging and conversation and the technology, right? I mean, you might be 81 years old, Judy, but you understand what's going on in the moment, right? Are you guys leveraging command right now? And
I get it, and
do you have
yes,
a conversation about that? Yeah, with people, sure.
I can get into command.
Yeah,
I can find whose birthdays and send birthday cards.
love that.
I don't do DocuSign. Jace, when I'm ready to present an offer or list, whatever, Jace does all that. Jace is Steve's son, and I'm very grateful for his intelligence, and I
Yeah,
thank him very much. He is my command.
yeah, I love that. I love that. You got it pretty good right now, right? Because you're just doing what you love to do, Judy, right? I mean,
Yes,
that's
and that's what I tell people.
yeah,
There's Jace, and I just wanna be with you. I just wanna
yeah,
serve you.
I love that.
I wanna be your fiduciary.
So let's have a parting shot here, Judy, right? So you're obviously, you love selling real estate, but you also love growing KW. Moving forward here, what kind of goals do you want to accomplish with your personal profit share or with your family's profit share over the next couple of years here? I mean, is there anything you're going to do differently, or is there anything you want to? Have you dabbled in internet recruiting? I know we talked about that a little bit, but have you thought of some new
No.
things to do or new ideas?
No, and I applaud you. And Aaron, I'm so grateful for you and the message that you bring. I just wanna
Thank
mwah
you.
you for that. You know how I feel about you
Yeah, thank you.
and the man bun, but,
And let me just say this, my answer to that question all the time is I'm just taking ownership of this real estate company. I got a huge financial stake in, just like Judy Johns, right? I mean, look, we're good people, Judy. Okay. We're high integrity people. We love KW, but we ain't stupid either.
No,
Okay. We have a huge financial, investment in KW, right? I mean, and I think you would agree that this ain't about your next check. Okay. Especially for Judy Johns. Okay. I don't have kids, Judy. Okay. I don't have grandkids, right? You have built a legacy. So I would imagine that you want to protect this, right? Moving forward.
absolutely.
And that's a part of why you do what you do is that, yeah, you're a nice person. Okay. Yes, people trust you, but you're also a very savvy business person. And a lot of what you do is intentional, just like with me. And if I didn't believe in KW and if I didn't have a huge financial investment in this company, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. This is business.
And
Okay.
you do it so well, and we're very grateful for that.
Thank you.
No, actually, I have, chided myself thinking of, if you don't ask, the answer is no, correct? And
Absolutely.
I've given myself permission to have a lot of agents in this city tell me no without my asking.
I love that.
So I slap my hands on that, and I've got 3 people right now that I said, "Judy, you just gotta suck it up and call them, and get over it," you know?
Yeah. So talk about what that means. If you say that you've earned the right, say that again, what you just said, because I want you to expand on what that really means when you
Oh,
say,
yeah.
yeah,
Can I say that again?
you said you've earned the right. You said something about you've earned the right.
Well, it's just like I'm ashamed I've earned the right to be able to call people
Yeah,
cappers, 7,
exactly.
15, $20 million producers,
Right.
and I'm choosing to give myself permission to call them and not assume that their answer is no,
That's a good.
because right now, I'm allowing them to be a no because I haven't called them.
Well, and let's get real, Judy. I mean, first of all, that's the worst thing that they can say. But second of all, if Judy Johns is going to have a conversation with them about KW, what I heard was you said, I've earned the right for them to say no, meaning that you have built such respect and relationships with these people that asking them to come to KW because you believe it's going to help them is not going to jeopardize your relationship with them because it's been built over
All the
decades,
time.
right? And that you're compelled to talk to them because you love them, okay? And you want that for them, right? And if they
That's
say
gotta be my
no, you
self-talk.
still love them, right? Yeah,
However, I know that this same little self-talk that's going on, "Oh, what if they say no?" to me
Yeah,
It's the same thing that other agents are most likely feeling as well. And
absolutely.
so here's the deal, get over it. You
Yeah,
know, do you care about them? I mean, this is my self-talk. Judy, how much do you care about them? Well, I care about them a lot, you
yeah,
know?
right.
So,
Well, what if your brother or sister was thinking about selling their house on their own? Wouldn't
mhm,
you wouldn't that compel you if you're a great agent to say, look, just, I know I'm going to make you more money. You're going to have more money in your pocket, least amount
mhm,
of hassles. And guess what? Your family member will make a little bit of money. But the point is, you know, if it was your family or someone you loved, right, you would be compelled. And I hear, people always ask me, they say, well, Aaron, what do I do to get purposeful while profit share? I'm like, well, how do you sell houses? I mean,
mhm,
it's the same conversation. I mean, you
exactly.
get into relationships with people, right? You come from contribution, you come from, you provide value, and then you're compelled to want to help them. And I always, in my class, I always use a quote from Ben Kinney, our top agent. But he says, look, when you offer the best service, you owe it to people to have
Mhm,
them work with you. And I think the message here, Judy, for people, and I can say that, in a couple of different ways. The way I've been saying it lately is you might want to walk the walk first before you talk the talk. Meaning,
mhm,
look, it's one thing to be an agent that people respect. Okay. It's another thing to be thinking and acting like a KW stakeholder, right? Teaching classes, sharing your ideas, seeking out
mhm.
knowledge and referrals, participating in Red Day, right?
All of the
Donating
above,
to
yeah.
KW Cares, involving our tech, right? Like that also, I think, gives people confidence in these conversations. Would you not agree? Like when 81-year-old Judy Johns can have a conversation around our technology platform, not that's happening all the time, but to know that you're plugged into it, at least you understand what we're doing, right? That gives you a little bit of confidence in some of these
Yeah,
conversations, or when the conversation turns to culture, and which is something you're very passionate about. If you're not participating in that still, right? That's not
mhm.
an authentic conversation for you, right?
No, I can talk command.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but
Yeah,
walking the walk, right? And
right.
taking advantage of all the things that KW has to offer is the same thing as committing to mastery as a real estate agent. The
Mhm,
confidence you get when you know you're a great agent and you talk to buyers and sellers is kind of the same confidence you can get when you're really taking ownership of KW as a stakeholder, right? Because you can say, look, this company actually has changed my life and my
mhm,
business because I'm plugged in. And let me tell you why and how it has, because it's a daily thing for me, right? Like
mhm.
if I wasn't a culture driven person, Judy, I wouldn't be able to have an authentic conversation about culture at KW, right?
Correct.
So that's
No, it's
important for
changed
you.
our family forever,
Exactly.
forever.
Exactly.
Mhm.
All right. So look, we're coming to the end here, Judy. What's your final parting shots for somebody that's looking at you and saying, God, I can't even imagine, making $1.5
Mhm.
million in profit share, or, God, Judy was just in the right place at the right time, right? Like, what do you
Right.
tell somebody? What do you tell somebody about right now? Because I actually think we're about to go through what I think is going to be the next big wave of growth for
Mhm.
KW, right? Because I mean, I think agents need what we have to
Yes.
offer right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And our industry is under attack. And I feel like
Mhm.
there's one person out in front fighting for the future of our industry. And I think as a
Yes.
result of that, KW is going to be the point of the spear. And I think the agents that think like true business owners are going to start to realize there's only one company
Mhm.
fighting for their future. And even though there are some new flashy objects, we're
Yes.
inherently different, right? And we're led by somebody that's driven by something more than just making money. So, what do you tell somebody about the moment we're in and the opportunity that we have right now as a company?
I would say that we're not here to survive, we're here to conquer and
Mm,
grow, and,
I
that
love
might be my word for next year, conquer. I kinda
I
like
love that. Yes, yes, I love that, Judy. Oh,
yeah,
charge the storm, right? Conquer,
yeah.
right? I mean,
Uh-huh.
and so
It's not about
how?
well, thriving is good, but
Yeah.
conquering is just there's a behind
Oh,
it.
God, I need me some Judy Johns every morning, kind of to take on the world. So what is it about us right now that's going to help us conquer this industry and the moment? And for those that are going to be purposeful about growing KW right now, what do you tell them? What's going to give them the confidence to go after it right now?
Well, I think longevity, I mean, think about how many years there's been a Keller Williams,
Yep.
period,
Yep.
and we're not going backwards. Likewise, you were saying something that stirred my brain a different direction, which
Oh, it's
happens.
okay. But you're talking about the moment, right? The moment
Yeah.
we're in, and the
So
fact
I
that
think that
that as the industry, let's get real. There's going to be a thinning of the herd, Judy, right? Is there
oh,
not?
yeah, it's gonna happen.
It's already
It
happening. It's already
I mean,
happening,
there's a
right?
national attrition
Yeah,
already,
we're going to
and
see an
we're gonna see
attrition,
that.
right?
But
And
there's
I feel like as the industry contracts, right, the greatest shift of wealth and opportunity, as Gary would say, are in down cycles, not up cycles. And I would
exactly.
think agents that come to KW right now that think and act like stakeholders and adapt and adopt all the things that our systems, our models, our training, our tech, our coaching,
Mhm.
our culture are probably going to have an advantage
Oh,
in an
yeah.
industry, that's going to be contracting, where other companies might be leaning more to a scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
KW is going to be charging the storm and conquering, right? Would you
Mhm.
agree?
Yeah. Well, and I liken it to, a mother hen protecting her nest,
Yeah.
and we're just all in this together. There's such a camaraderie,
Yeah.
not within each market center, but, worldwide with
Yeah.
Keller Williams because we kinda know who we are,
Exactly.
and we know that we're gonna protect one another, and, mother hen,
Yeah.
Gary Keller, Mo Anderson,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're gonna keep us warm and safe.
Well, and I think it's moments like these too, not just the industry, okay, but the political environment, okay, the just the feeling of the world being a little bit crazier and divided than it's been, okay, at least in my lifetime.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
in my lifetime too, it saddens me. It really
yeah, it
saddens me.
does. But you know what makes me a little bit unsad, Judy, is that I'm a part of a global real estate company of 200,000 stakeholders that are bound together by purpose and community, that are fighting for the future of our profession, who have a real incentive to work together and care about each other. And God forbid something bad happens to me, right?
Mhm.
Or a natural disaster hits my town, like it just hit in Clarksville,
Yeah.
Tennessee, which, by the way, I'm scheduled to teach there on the 20 in 10 days. Now, whether or
Mhm.
not that class is going to happen or not, I'll leave that up to them. But
It'll happen.
oh,
It'll
no,
happen. They
if
will
it
need to
happens,
hear it.
the point is, you better believe that's going to be one of the most electric classes of the year.
Mhm.
Okay, because I was just in Fort Myers, Florida, a couple months ago, teaching a class, right, where Hurricane Ian blew through Fort Myers a year ago, and
Yes.
for me, culture and community and purpose, man, they mean a lot more in tough times.
Mhm.
Okay.
Don't you love that word community?
Yeah, I do. And I just feel like with what's happening with our industry, what's happening in the world, I feel like our purpose and our culture and our community is more valuable than it's ever been. And we just have to, and you and I both know, Judy, that there's so much room for improvement within
Oh,
KW,
mhm.
right? Not to
Yeah.
mention just gross recruiting. I mean, you and I both know, what if everybody was thinking like Judy Johns and Aaron Kaufman in this company? How big would our profit share checks be right now?
Woohoo!
Right. So we understand, you and I know you do as just as much as I do, that the next wave of growth and profitability for KW, I believe, is going to come from within. Okay.
Mm,
It's from turning our non-cappers into cappers. It's getting more of our agents
yes.
buying into culture, thinking more like stakeholders, helping us evolve our tech, leveraging command, right?
Mhm.
And being purposeful about profit share, because ultimately, what would we look like if the majority of our agents were doing all of that? I mean, think about the advantage we would have, how much bigger our lives, our businesses would be. So I get excited, even though it's been a tough couple of years. Okay. And I
Mhm.
do not like seeing my profit share, go down over the last couple of years. It doesn't get me, doesn't thrill me. But
Mhm.
what I would say is this, we're holding the line, Judy. Okay. We're
Mhm.
adding people, we're losing people, we're adding people, we're losing people. But I just feel like in the next couple of years, as this thing kind of turns back, the people that we've added that survive this moment are going to be, trailblazers for KW for a long time. And even though
We'll
there's
be
going to be,
conquerors.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And, you know, there might be somebody today. I mean, look at, if you go to Mega Camp and Family Reunion and you look up on stage, I mean, some of our top agents on stage have been in the business for just a couple of years, or they're, you know, 22-year-old TikTok and, you know, $30 million agents. I mean, I think people need to understand that the leaders of our industry 5 years from now, many of them are not even in the business yet. And
Gary's always said that. I find that so inspiring.
it's true, especially now that we're a technology company, Judy. I mean, the next top agent could be a 21-year-old TikToking phenom, okay? Or, you know, I mean, seriously, an influencer on Instagram. Who knows? So anyways, Judy, you're the best. And it's people like you that fill my cup and get me so excited about what I do. Because when I roll into Kansas City, okay, to teach my class, I know not only is it going to be an amazing turnout, there's going to be this energy and this feeling that, hey, this ain't an idea, okay? We're actually living it in Kansas City. And I think, you know, when I come to places like Kansas City, when we've got amazing leadership like you, right, that have set that momentum from the get-go, it really fills my cup, because we all agree that not every KW office is created equal, right? And so when I see what you built there, and how many agents do you went from 9 agents to, what was the peak agent count that you guys had there?
Well, citywide, we're over, I think we're over 2,500. In our market center alone, we're pushing towards 650.
That's amazing. Think about how many lives you've changed, you know?
Well, you know, it's success through others. And we just feel very honored that we were chosen to be, I'm getting goosebumps as I say this, as the ones who could open
absolutely
the door for KW and in the city and beyond.
And you're just getting started, right?
Yeah, well,
yeah. So look, thank you so much for your time today. All right, I'm gonna load this up to YouTube. I'll send you a link to that. But if anybody needs to get in touch with Judy Johns in Kansas City, okay,
913-980 Judy 5839.
And Judy, do you respond to text messages and emails?
I'm much better at texting than about anything.
Okay. Well, look, you enjoy the rest of your week. Okay. You know, I'll give you a big hug when I hopefully see you next. I don't know if you're going to be in Vegas in February. Are you going to go?
Yeah.
Of course you are. Right. That's what you do, right? You take advantage of all the things we have to offer. So look, give you the rest of your family a big hug from me. I'm sure I'll see them there as well. But you're the best, Judy. And
you're sweet, thank you.
All right. Take care, dear.
Bye, honey.
All right. Bye-bye.